And welcome to the Marc Scaringi Show. Here's where we cut through the noise with the truth, the Constitution, and the unapologetic America First principles. I'm your host, Marc Scaringi, coming to you from central Pennsylvania. Today's podcast is entitled, Say Goodbye to Our Little Friends from Haiti and Syria. On Thursday, June 25th, we got a huge victory for the Trump administration and for common sense immigration policy. The United States Supreme Court ruled 6-3 in Mullen v. Doe that the federal government can move forward with ending temporary protected status, TPS, for nationals from Haiti and Syria. This is a big one, folks. No more judicial roadblocks from activist lower courts trying to tie the hands of the Department of Homeland Security. Let me break this down for you step by step, because this isn't just about two countries, Syria and Haiti. It's about the rule of law, congressional intent, and putting American interests first. TPS was created by Congress back in 1990. It's supposed to be temporary, hence the name, for people from countries hit by natural disasters, armed conflict, or other extraordinary temporary conditions. The Secretary of Homeland Security designates a country and gives folks already here work authorization and deportation protection while conditions are bad back home. For Haiti, it started after the devastating 2010 earthquake. The Obama administration granted TPS that ultimately grew to over 300,000 Haitians. The designation was for 18 months. Naturally, the TPS was extended multiple times by Presidents Obama and Biden. But in President Trump's first term, he tried to end it but got shut down by the federal courts. For Syria, it was the civil war and Assad's crackdown. The TPS affected about 6,000 Syrians. Those designations got extended over and over again. Haiti from 2010 all the way to 2025. Syria, similar. Then, under President Trump and former Secretary Noem, they reviewed and decided, hey, conditions had improved enough, or it's no longer in the national interest to keep extending. New Syrian government moving towards stability. Haiti, no ongoing extraordinary temporary conditions preventing safe return. That was the decision of Trump's Secretary of Homeland Security. Liberal groups and TPS holders sued in D.C. and New York, and activist federal judges blocked the terminations. Appeals courts wouldn't step in, so the Trump team took it straight to the Supreme Court and won big. Justice Samuel Alito on the United States Supreme Court wrote the majority opinion. Clear, textualist, and straightforward. Good writing. The TPS statute has a strong judicial review bar. Courts generally cannot review the Secretary's determinations to terminate a TPS designation. The language in the statute is broad. No judicial review of any determination with respect to the termination. That covers both the final call and the process leading up to it. Justice Alito rejected the challenger's attempts to carve out procedural reviews or partial decisions. If the final action is unreviewable, so are the steps along the way. Alito also dismissed fears of shocking abuses, saying Congress has tools like appropriations to check the executive, not elected judges. The challengers also brought an equal protection claim on behalf of the Syrians and Haitians. The challengers argued that former Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem's decision to end TPS for Haiti was naturally motivated by racial animus, specifically because Haiti's population is overwhelmingly black, rather than legitimate race-neutral factors like country conditions or national interest. Challengers highlighted public statements by President Donald Trump and administration officials as evidence of racial discriminatory intent, referring to Haiti as a shithole country. We can all remember our president making that statement in 2018 in a meeting on immigration, or Trumpian comments suggesting Haitians in Ohio were eating the dogs and cats. You can remember that meme from the campaign. Assertions that Haitians living in the U.S., quote, probably have AIDS, end quote, from President Trump. Other remarks portraying Haiti negatively in the context of immigration. Now, again, on this Haiti equal protection claim, The race discrimination angle pushed hard by challengers, citing these past statements from the president that we just reviewed. Justice Alito said, even if reviewable from a racial discrimination standpoint, from an equal protection 14th Amendment standpoint, even if the claims are reviewable from a 14th Amendment standpoint, they're likely to fail. Heated political rhetoric isn't overt racial animus, and policy views on immigration and TPS can stand on race-neutral grounds like national interest and conditions on the ground. Justice Thomas concurred, going further on non-citizens and equal protection claims. Justice Thomas argued courts lack power to review the constitutional claim at all in this context, and that non-citizens cannot sue the federal government for equal protection violations in the same way that guarantee primarily binds the states, or the 14th Amendment binds state governments. Now, this is textualism and restraint in action as exhibited by our United States Supreme Court. The court isn't making policy. That's not its job, and this court recognizes it. It's enforcing what Congress wrote. TPS, by the way, isn't a permanent amnesty program, but that's what our liberal progressive friends and the challengers in this lawsuit are attempting to turn TPS into a permanent amnesty program. That violates the statute, and that's not the intent of Congress. Now, there was a dissent, of course, from the three amigos, Kagan, Sotomayor, and Jackson. The three liberal justices dissented, as expected. Justice Kagan argued for a narrower reading of the review bar, focusing only on the core determination, and allowing procedural challenges like alleged inadequate consultation with the State Department, whatever that is. It'll be interesting to determine how a federal court can analyze and reach a conclusion as to the adequacy of consultation with the State Department. Justice Kagan emphasized humanitarian concerns, keeping people here while litigation continues, and highlighting statements she called racially inflected. Well, the Supreme Court is not the United Nations. It's not the Red Cross. It's not a humanitarian organization. That's my analysis and opinion, not Justice Kagan's. She wants the opposite. But the majority saw through it. This program was never meant to be indefinite. Conditions change. Governments change. America can't be the permanent safe haven for the world's problems without limits. America is not a sanctuary country. This ruling is a major win for enforcing immigration law. TPS has ballooned. Over 1 million people from 17 countries at one point were here in the country on TPS status. Extensions turned temporary into de facto permanent for many. The Trump administration is right to review these case by case based on the facts, not political pressure. Critics will scream cruelty and racism because that's what they always scream. We've heard it before. But sovereignty isn't racism. Rule of law is not racism. Secure borders and legal immigration that serves our national interest aren't bigotry. Haiti and Syria have real challenges, as do many cities and states across the United States of America. But U.S. policy must prioritize Americans, jobs, resources, assimilation, and rule of law. That's what America is supposed to be all about. Endless TPS extensions strain communities, especially when conditions warrant ending them. This also reinforces separation of powers. Congress sets the rules. The executive carries them out. Courts don't rewrite statutes to achieve preferred outcomes. Lower courts, in this case, overreached. SCOTUS, check them. For Pennsylvania and the nation, this decision by the United States Supreme Court supports the America First agenda. No more open-ended programs that undermine enforcement. It sends a message. temporary means temporary. What do you think, folks? Is this the right move to restore order to immigration? Drop your comments, share this episode on X, on Rumble, on YouTube, and at Marc Scaringi. This decision reaffirms that we are a nation of laws, not perpetual wards of the world. Stay informed, stay engaged. We'll keep fighting for constitutional principles and American sovereignty. Thanks for listening. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. We'll talk again soon.